y'all? It's Dr. Paul coming at you live from an undisclosed location in the Texas Hill Country, Liberty Hill Comics. Get ready for this, the greatest comic book conservation live show on planet Earth. What's up?
Hey guys.
How you guys doing?
Hey guys. Nice to see you all.
We got a great show.
We do. I'm looking forward to this one.
I'm pumped.
I hope so, yeah.
I mean, like literally, Professor, I was just doing curls. I'm pumped.
How's my muscle? Doctor?
Hey, yeah, there you go.
I'm building it up.
Do the guns. We'll do the guns.
I'm not going. I'm not competing with you, Doctor.
We're straight mogging over here, people. Join the crew. Join the crew. How are you, Captain?
I'm recovering. Yeah, I just got in. I left. What did I leave? Shanghai. Yeah, I just got in this morning, and laid down, took a nap, and I'm just kind of. I still got the toothpicks in the eyes. I'm trying to stay awake for you guys, so I'll do my best. But I am home now, so it's a nice change.
That's a great feeling. I mean, it is for me. I know some people love travel, and they're actually more comfortable on the road than they are at home. For me, man. Give me my own bed. Give me my own stack of comics in my own.
Well, it's funny. People ask me, it's just, oh yeah, you've been all over the world. Where do you go on vacation? I go home.
Yeah,
yeah.
I want to go home.
Maybe for you, you go interior in the great state of California for a little bit just to get away. But
yeah,
it's not abroad, right?
No. I stay home. I want to work on comic books. I want to do what I like to do. My depressurization. I may disappear into the woods, but I come back. So all good. It's good to see the two
some comic books.
There.
The two cue balls. What did you say?
Well, you guys both have PhDs, you know. I gotta represent the high school kids. You know, you guys start talking up here, and we go like this, and I go, wait, time out.
Well, the professor who's joining us today is indeed a scholar and a gentleman, and his day job is at Salem State University there in Massachusetts, which is a wonderful place to hang out. And I was fortunate.
Yeah, didn't you go visit? You went to go visit, yeah.
I met him in person there. It was fabulous. I very much enjoyed it. And the professor's a great hugger, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the
not
first time I met you,
everybody's
Dr. Paul. I had to hug you.
Yeah. Not everybody's, down with that, but I am personally, and I'm here to tell you that.
Syrian culture, we hug,
Yeah.
Men hug men,
Yeah. Shelby's a good hugger too. Actually, he's not here with. He's here with us. Actually, I think he already left a comment. Yeah, he left a comment.
Did he?
He's here in spirit.
Shelby is a super guy for lift up your spirits,
Yeah, he's great. He's a great friend of the channel and of mine personally. He of Shelby's comics there in the chat. So I'm going to do just real quick. We got a lot of show. So let's just say hello to the professor. Thank you for joining us from your channel. Did you officially change it? Is it Professor Peter now, or is it still Experiments in Conservation? Either way, that's what I can find.
It's called
right?
Professor Peter Experiments in Conservation.
Right here on YouTube.
Yeah, because I was trying to pull your logo today to put it in the thumbnail and everything. I couldn't find it.
We've got a show, as we typically do for our conservation show, in two parts. Got an A block where we're going to talk about Green Lantern #1 and a recent auction, and a lot of fun with the conservation of that, which was done by Kenny Sanderson. We got some insights into that to share with you, some behind-the-scenes photos of the work. That should be fun. And then we have part 2, which is the professor giving us an update on his nanocellulose studies and some stuff he found out. That is, by the way, not a replacement for watching the content on his channel. It's more of a supplement and a conversation around it. Definitely need to be checking out his channel. And of course, Captain Larry coming to us this week from California. He of Flying L Comics here on YouTube and Instagram. Best place to get a hold of him. And the best place to get a hold of the professor is actually at Salem State. Go take one of his classes.
I'm teaching
This
microbiology and biology this semester, so I'm busy 4 days a week.
Before we jump in, let's thank this show's sponsors. This show's brought to you ad-free if you're watching it live, thanks to Jim Collegier, You Pluck My Last Comic, Don Carter, Collecting Chaos, and Gorilla Monkey 3K, are super generous sponsors. We appreciate you very much. They support the show. They help us offset the cost of the software and everything else that we invest in bringing the show to you. So please give them a thanks. Please check them out on their various social media platforms, including YouTube, and come join us in the Facebook group, the Comic Book Conservation Community. All of them are contributing members there. Come say hi to us there. While we're at it, let's say thank you, a huge thank you to Jim Collegier for being a returning sponsor. Thank you so much. He says, I'm anxious to learn from the professor. While I'm at it, Don Carter, once again, thank you so much for the generosity. We appreciate it. Shelby's here. He says, never on time. I think we were about 90 seconds late, so he's technically correct. JCP is here. Welcome. Don Carter, of course. Comics Embraced, 9159. Welcome to the show. Hope you enjoy it. Coming via one of our two simulcast channels. We are simulcasting on Flying L Comics and on Professor Peter's Experiments in Conservation. So welcome to the show, wherever you're joining us from. Gorilla Production 73 is another name for Gorilla Monkey 3K, our friend of the show. AJ's here. Welcome, Aubrey. Yahoo Miklovsky is here. Welcome, Mike. We appreciate you. And with that, let's jump in because we have a ton of content to cover, and I want to be able to savor it. Welcome, Rocky Top Comics and Ben Stewart. This book crossed the auction block not that long ago, and it's one we haven't talked about on the channel yet. It's one that I will eventually be trying to acquire for my own collection because it is featured in The Golden Age of Comic Books by Richard O'Brien. It is, I want to say, it's in the front sort of third. It's right here, this color plate.
Yep. I think we all have that book. I got mine.
Yeah.
We have the book.
Professor beat me to it. What is it? It's about
right there.
Let's see. Is it? I'm looking it up right now. It is plate. I said it's about plate number 10. It's officially plate 11. As you know, I'm trying to collect all the books featured in that book. There are 40 of them. So I will eventually have to find a copy of this. Man, when I was doing the research for this, a really low-grade copy, but it still had the front cover. It was missing enough that it was a 0.5. It went up on eBay with a buy it now for only $495, and someone just snapped it off.
Ooh, you missed it.
I didn't even see it, until after the fact. But this is obviously a great Golden Age book for anyone in any grade. We're going to jump right into this particular one. If you saw our Golden Age premiere episode for our Golden Age show, The Golden Age of Comic Books, we talked a lot about these eponymous titles and how Superman had the first one ever in comic books, and various comic book heroes got their own eponymous titles over time. It took Green Lantern a little bit over a year. His first appearance in number 16 of All American Comics. He's the cover feature on All American from there well into the end of the 40s, before he's no longer featured on the cover of All American. He gets his own eponymous title in it hits the newsstands in September of 41, but it was actually a quarterly production, so it's listed as the fall issue. Great Howard Purcell cover. Let's just enjoy this for a moment. Really, I think probably the most iconic Green Lantern cover, and it's a Howard Purcell cover. We'll talk a little bit more about this, the creators, but I don't know if anybody wants to make an argument in the chat for a better Green Lantern Golden Age cover, a better sort of Alan Scott cover. I can't think of one.
That would be that's also a tough one in high grade too.
Oh,
because of the dark colors, the blacks and
we're
the
gonna
greens.
we're gonna talk about that.
It.
Yeah, absolutely. So, being the eponymous title, it's all the stories in it are Green Lantern stories. It was, as I mentioned, the cover is Howard Purcell. The creator of the Green Lantern is an illustrator named Martin Nodell, or Martin Nodell. He also went by Marty Nodell. Most of the stories were written by Bill Finger. The powers that be at DC thought that Marty Nodell was not the strongest penciler they had in the bullpen. And that's why Howard Purcell got the nod for the cover to Green Lantern #1. But the interior stories are actually all illustrated by Marty Nodell. The first story is a retelling of the origin from All-American 16. And then there are 4 original stories, all written by Bill Finger. This is the 2/3 splash from the first story, the origin story. A couple other interesting things I thought, so Doiby Dickles comes out in All-American Comics, I believe, number 29. So Green Lantern has a total of 12 solo adventures, which is about the same number that Batman has before Robin shows up in Tech 38. Doiby is not featured on the cover of Green Lantern #1. He's featured on the cover of most of the rest of the issues. And he's featured only in one of the stories of the Green Lantern #1 in terms of I think there's 5 total stories. There's the origin, then 3 kind of Green Lantern solo stories, and then the one with Doiby. As you know, Alan Scott, he has 2 weaknesses. He has to recharge the ring at least once every 24 hours in the lantern. And the lantern has no power over anything made out of wood.
That ring was like the iPhone. You needed to recharge it, right?
Frequently.
Yeah.
It's powered by willpower, despite it being needed to be recharged. It's also a magic device, so it is not the same as the Owens later for the Silver Age, the alien sort of technology that powers the ring. It's actually a magic device. If you read these stories, they're not that imaginative as I read them in terms of he's got this ring that can literally create anything, do anything. And he ends up kicking, punching, and judo throwing a lot of his villains. He also doesn't, for the most part, fight a lot of villains that, this is why he's socking them out, because they don't even require the ring to defeat them. Most of the stories are fairly pedestrian insofar as he's like dealing with like horse wranglers and con artists and people that are ripping off orphanages and stuff like that. So he'd rather beat him up than use the ring on him. He doesn't need the ring for most of these early adventures. It's kind of ironic. Another interesting thing to me, at least, is at this time he does not yet have the oath. So you see, there's like kind of this is a panel from the story from Green Lantern #1, or it's actually 2 panels in part of a layout, an interesting kind of layout in the middle of one of the stories. It shows the recharging, and he's doing sort of an oath. He's sort of riffing here. He says, "I shall shed my light over dark evil, for the dark things cannot stand the light of the Green Lantern," which is a little, it's kind of like an oath. It's oath-ish. But the oath that we know today, the "in brightest day and darkest night" oath, was not published until Green Lantern #9, which is not written by Bill Finger, but actually by Alfred Bester. So I thought it's kind of a neat little Golden Age factoid. Moving on, we have 97 universal copies of this book. It's not a super valuable book as Golden Age, number ones go. And it's not super rare either as Golden Age number ones go. It's kind of middle of the pack in terms of that, with 145 all grades, median grade of 5.0. And we are obviously going to be talking about a conserved and low grade book, but a book that is cool nonetheless. As you know, I like to give our audience an idea of the value in universal grade. We haven't had a sale in 1.8, I think, ever in terms of a public sale. There's only one in the census, but we've had regular sales at 1.5 and 2.0. These are Go Collect data. Thank you, Go Collect. Well, I pay for it. They don't sponsor us or anything, but I still appreciate the service they provide. I just used a linear regression here. So if a 1.5 is worth 3,400 and a 2.0 is worth 4,400, I picked the middle number, which would be 3,900, to be the value of a 1.8 theoretical in universal.
Yeah.
That said, like many Golden Age books, there's a lot of variability. These are just guidelines. You should buy the book, not the grade. So, but those are the best data we have. So 3,900 it is. That's what we're shooting against, folks, for those of you playing the home game. All right. So I reached out to Kenny Sanderson, friend of the show. He of Sanderson Studios on Instagram, and he told us that he worked on this book. He was the conservator, and he was kind enough to share a bunch of images with us. Some of these are available on his Instagram, and that is the best way to get a hold of him. And some of them he sent to us personally to use for the show. So thank you, Kenny. We appreciate the insight and your expertise as always. You can see the book as it came to him was in a sad state. This book was auctioned recently, and it was actually offered at an auction with another book that Kenny worked on, and that was the More Fun number 52, the first Spectre book that we featured. Gosh, it's been about a month ago now.
About a month ago, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think more like 6 weeks, because I think it was mid-April when we did that. But go back to that episode, check that out for his other work. But don't use that information to cheat and find out what this one sold for if you want to play the home game. Here's the cover separated from the interior wraps. Go ahead, Larry.
I was going to just comment how ugly this looks in this condition, the damage that's there. It makes me wonder, because we know it comes back as a 1.8 conserved. What does everybody speculate it would be if you submitted it as a universal?
Oh,
would it be a one half or a one? It's hard to say.
Yeah. Well, isn't this fully split 1/2 automatically?
No.
Yeah.
1/2
No,
is
no.
if you're missing like a either half the cover, or you're missing a centerfold or a few wraps. That's
I think this would. I think this would be a one.
That would be my best guess too. Not that I claim to be a grading expert, but I think a 1 would be a good guess for this, which means at 1.8 you basically doubled, close to doubled the grade on it, right? Yeah, it was a mess, but it's mostly there. Badly stained, as you can see. Next photo shows actually the interior of the pages, and now you can see truly the extent to which Kenny was sent a lot to work with here.
That's quite a tide line.
Yeah, and it looks brittle also.
It looks absolutely brittle,
very
doesn't it, Professor?
absolutely brittle. I would say that's probably not water. I'm looking at the page rot on the back cover at the bottom, And I would say that's probably something other than water.
There's a lot of dirt in that tide line, right?
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah.
While everybody's enjoying this, let's say thank you to Gorilla Productions 73 for the super chat. We appreciate you. Say hi to Comics Embraced. I said hi already. Welcome. And Collecting Chaos, at least, arrived with a full belly. Awesome. Archivist Adrift, Jason is here. Welcome. This is the interior. And yeah, it looks to me like this paper did get waterlogged and then is just so aged that it's darkened to the point of beyond anything even on the CGC's little color guide, right? Like this is beyond brown, really.
Yeah, you're getting towards black.
Right?
Yeah.
So these are the befores. Let's have a look at what Kenny did with them. So dry cleaning first, as we always recommend, and prior to any wet work. And then, interestingly, Kenny really pulled out the stops for this book. So this was a double leaf cast book in that the cover and the interior were dramatically different enough colors, and he wanted to really capture the paper and embed it from two sides, I imagine, that he casted one layer with this creamy color paper and then did a second cast in a darker paper that would match the interior when everything dried out and was all said and done. You can see along the edges here, the overlapping a little bit of the double cast. That'll obviously be trimmed away. You can see it here dried. So now you see why he took the effort, right? So on the back cover, you have a more creamy white in the middle of the field where it says absolutely free, for example, right? Whereas on the interior, you had that very dark color, and that's why he's done the double cast, so that from either side, it would present well. No points from CGC for this, by the way. This is just all the pride one takes in their work.
So this
I think it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is great. He did this with a leaf caster, right? Yes, leaf. Yeah.
This is full submersion.
Yes, full submersion.
Leaf casting.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And doing this is he does. This is a very difficult process to do. The actual casting doesn't take very long, but the setup is hours.
Yeah,
it takes
and I've done full submersion leaf casting as well. It's just like you really got to be on your game and ready to put the work in.
Yeah.
This is a lot of work, people. What Kenny did here.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed. Yeah.
Ben Stewart says needs glycerin. I don't know if you want to comment on that, Professor.
Or nanocellulose for this matter. If you give it a spraying of nanocellulose, it'll attach to all the fiber in it and solidify the book. It'll present much better at the end, right?
I agree with you, KK. You know what? This book is still mostly complete, and it's a treasure. You know, people who see my reveals know that I'm buying mostly higher end Golden Age books these days, but it does not mean that I don't appreciate. Sometimes I love these well-worn books even more than a pristine book. It shows that they were used, you know?
Yeah. Well, this is what I go after. I like the lower grade that needs, I call it the Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Yeah.
It needs some love and repair. You know, it's.
I find these books beautiful in any grade, frankly.
Right.
Absolutely.
Mike says, Martin Odell, I got to meet twice at conventions. He lived in Wisconsin in his twilight years. He was a prolific con goer and created a lot of sketches for people over the years, and was a treasure that we had until recently, actually. So that's great to hear, Mike. JCP says, how do you line the pieces? The biggest, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but the the biggest tip that I can provide is you want to use the first wrap. If the first wrap of the interior is intact, you want to use that as your guide. Is it will not always be square. It will not, you know, sometimes it's a parallelogram. All kind of things can be going on. And you ultimately want that cover to meet those wraps naturally. So you're gonna use that first wrap if it's intact as your template.
Yeah, I think what he's kind of also asking is when you're doing the full submersion leaf casting in a leaf caster, once you have the pieces aligned, we clamp it down with a top portion with some weights. And once the fluid starts moving, it starts flowing through there and all the pieces stand tacked.
Yeah.
It's impressive to watch.
Jason, if only this were true. Doiby is in fact introduced in All-Star number 29. So that predates this issue, sadly. Doiby is featured here. All right, let's move on.
Green Lantern's Robin.
Yeah, Green Lantern's Robin.
Look at that.
Here is the final product as you see it from the exterior of the book, as Kenny produced it before remarrying it to the interior. And then here's the final product as you see it go out to grading and come back. Cream to off-white pages. So for those of you that don't know, when CGC has a page quality designation, that is the page quality designation for the interior pages of the book. Now, Kenny confided in us that he did not do any deacidification or cleaning of those interior pages as much as he would have liked to. It just wasn't in the budget for the client here. This was work he did for hire, of course. And so those are as submitted, essentially. The grade obviously is conserved, and the conservation includes leaf casting to cover in and interior reinforced. Grader's notes indicate large water damage stain left, full left of whole book, multiple crease covers, staple repositioned staples, and that is all. What more do you need to say, really?
For what he started with, it looks amazing. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Be a treasure for anybody. It is now something that you can...
to get a 1.8 conserved out of it, I think that.
Although it is slabbed here, it is now a book that you could open, read, enjoy, handle without it disintegrating, without it further deteriorating. By virtue of the leaf casting, the cover's been deacidified, so it is going to stand the test of time. And so, you know, it's dramatically improved, both in its ability to be used as it was intended, as it was manufactured, and also as it presents. And I think in value too. We're going to look at
how many pages were in this book? Do you know?
It's a significant.
It's a big book.
I don't know if it's 68 or 64. Somebody in the chat.
That would be the discouraging thing for the owner to want to have Kenny do a full treat, because once you treat one page, you got to treat them all, and that's a lot of work, and that's why the cost involved. You have to weigh that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is early DC Golden Age. This is 68 pages.
Yeah, so that, to do all those wraps like that, that's a common trade-off. A lot of owners are only having the covers treated. It just is what it is. Of course, as conservators, we want to deacidify everything. So.
Yeah. I mean, for my PC, that's what I do.
That's what I'm going to do.
Sometimes I work on something for a friend, and they're just like, "Yeah, just do this," and so I get it. Let's take a little bit of closer look at the work. Again, you're seeing from this side the creamy new leaf cast that matches the back cover. Kenny wanted to mention to us that what appears to be wrinkles in the book here in the cover are not in his work as you see it here. It's nice and smooth. Not sure what happened there, whether or not it's something that is an artifact of time or something that the owner did after they received it from Kenny, but
because
I leave his hands that way. So
yeah, I looked at that and it makes me wonder, that somebody monkeyed with it, and maybe that's why it's a 1.8. It might have been a 2 or something when Kenny was down with it, because I think the cover looks really intact and good. There's some missing paper, but 1.8 it's might be a little bit harsh unless you're really grading that interior and the water stain and everything else. So it's kind of a toss up. But yeah, if I were to speculate, I'd say somebody monkeyed with this after Kenny got done with it.
Could it be also that the book didn't fit the case very well and they just shoved it in there? It happened to me too.
Well, especially these big books. I mean, they are physically really big. They're at the maximum of the Golden Age holder. I've had some where I've cracked out that they have a spine roll and they just don't fit. And if they don't get stuffed into a magazine size holder, they get stuffed into this. Yeah. So that possibility exists too. But yeah, I don't know.
We're speculating. I could see multiple scenarios here. They're all speculation. One could be the dimensional shift that occurred after it left Kenny, but it's essentially an artifact of the work he did. That's a possibility. Now, Kenny's got a great reputation, has worked on a lot of books, and doesn't see this release. So I wouldn't say it was at the top. But it's also, keep in mind, this is double leaf casted. And cast does shrink and contort, and things can happen. So I wouldn't rule that out entirely. We're in a tough spot because we're sort of pinning this on somebody, right? We're either pinning it on Kenny's work, or we're pinning it on CGC, who is also a friend of the show, Matt Nelson, president over at CGC. Did they jam it into a holder, right? Or we have to put it on the owner and say the owner, which to me sure doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, you pay Kenny Sanderson to work on a book, you don't then further monkey with it. That wouldn't be a thing. I would think any person with some gray matter would do, but it's also a possibility. They all seem unlikely to me, so I don't want to speculate here.
No, I don't either. It does look like it's fit pretty snugly into the holder, looking at the edges.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it's hard to say. It might just not be the right holder. So yeah, but definitely I can see
yet another possibility. Could have been exposed to moisture post being slabbed. That's also a possibility.
Yeah, being that they put the interior sleeve in there, that'd be highly unlikely in my eyes that they would do that. I would tend
to agree, but also the other scenarios are also unlikely. So yeah,
that's true. But they also have the micro paper in there, and there's a few other things that would keep it from. That would take a lot of moisture to do that.
Agreed.
Right, that looks more like a bent corner to me, like it was crunched in there.
Commandant VHS, welcome to the show.
I don't know.
Yeah. That said, do we want to guess what this sold for? Remember, our target for those of you playing the home game was 3,900 linearly interpolated between the Go collect values for the 1.5 and the 2.0. Sales boy, thank you for the super chat. Keeping it moist. Good to see you here, Dylan. What do we think?
I shall abstain because I looked it up.
So.
I didn't look it up, so I'm gonna say 4,200.
42 honey. All right, he's on the board. 42 honey. Gorilla Monkey is at 2950. Any other guessers here for the home game?
I see 2. I see 2950, 3,000.
JCP says $2,000. Commandant VHS says $3,000. Mike says 3,800. Sales Boys at 3,750. What a cool book. And somebody gets this, they get a book that Kenny Sanderson worked on. Of course, this sold over, speaking of all the people we know, right? All of the friends of the channel. Kenny Sanderson worked on the book. It went obviously through Matt Nelson's hands at CGC, friend of the channel. Ultimately, went to auction at Metropolis. So went through friend of the channel, Vinny Zerzullo's hands over there, probably. What a small world, and how fortunate are we to have so many great friends in this world?
I know, to get to hang out with these guys too. They're really good people.
So Bronzeville. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Larry.
No, I was going to say, if you're at a convention, you see these guys, say hi to them. They're really pleasant people. Absolutely.
Bronzeville's at 3,600. Thanks, Jim. KK says more than I can afford. Well, there's one just sold for $495. So there's a copy of Green Lantern 1 for everybody.
that one stings.
It looked like Frankenstein. I mean, it literally looked like someone had stitched it together. It was gnarly.
Yeah,
but it was mostly there. Well, okay, it's a 0.5, so the back cover's probably missing, but the front was there, right? I mean, I thought it for $500, why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Rocky Top Comics, welcome to the show, says 4,300. Cartel, welcome, says 2,600. Ben Stewart's at 5,549. That's strong. Cartel wants to come back at 3,434, and I think we should reveal 3,434 is so close it almost feels like a cheat. But I'm a very trusting individual, so I'm gonna say Cartel got that, whether you use Price is Right rules or not.
Wow.
That is actually a pretty strong price. 88% of our calculated value for Universal at 3,900. So I think the Jason's string of making me laugh out loud every episode is intact. I think the strong value is a testament to Kenny's work. And I think the seller should be happy here. 88% of Universal is a good outcome for a conserved book, especially missing as much material as that one did.
Can I ask you a question? Like, if you had a chance to buy this book, it's yours, would you crack it and work on the interior and resubmit?
Oh, right, like right now, after Kenny's worked on it? No, I would.
You wouldn't
touch it.
Open it.
The professor's question is regarding the interior pages.
Interior, though.
Yeah, it wouldn't change your grade.
No. But if it was in your PC, wouldn't you want it deacidified? I'll tell you what I think. I'll answer the question a little bit differently. I think if it was in Kenny Sanderson's PC, he would do it.
No, no question about it.
He would want the interior deacidified, right? My answer is the same as what I'm speculating Kenny's would be. I would like the interior to be deacidified. So I would want it to be something that my heirs would be confident wasn't going to turn to dust from the inside out.
Fair enough.
I would do it.
Well,
I would probably do it too. Yeah.
Kenny and I are going to work on a project together, which I'll share with you guys later. But yeah,
cool. Wonderful, Larry.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. We're looking forward to hearing more about that. All right. Well, we have a lot to get through. So I will say, I hope you enjoyed that segment. I appreciate all of it.
That was great.
Congratulations to Cartel. And what else do we have? We usually say, if you like the show, if you're enjoying yourself, give it a thumbs up, tell somebody about it, and leave us a comment. So not just in the chat, but if you're here for the show and you're in the chat, we super appreciate you. But if you would take a moment to leave a comment on the video proper after the show is done being live and it's on demand, we appreciate that as well. That sort of really helps with engagement. And without further ado, let's talk about the incredible work that the professor's doing with nanocellulose applications for comic book conservation, and by extension, all the folks he's got excited about it that are also working with the material and posting a lot of amazing results in our Facebook group, the Comic Book Conservation Community. So if you enjoy this next segment and want more, definitely come. Well, firstly, check out the professor's channel, which we've already plugged. And there is a link in the description, but also come check out the Facebook page. Take it away, Professor.
Well, it's an amazing tool, Dr. Paul. I mean,
yeah,
nanocellulose has blown my mind, right? Every time I use it, I can't believe my eyes, right? It sticks to things, of course, so you can't use too much of it. You have to use it in the right dose. And there is very little research on it, right? So what I'm doing is really, truly groundbreaking stuff, right? No one has ever used it in not leaf casting, but spot casting and spot infills and things like that. Nobody has ever used it before in conjunction with metal cellulose to seal tears. There are some uses with carboxymetal cellulose, but not with metal cellulose, right? No one really has done much research on it yet. So in the conservation community, they're very, very quiet about it, right? And no leaf casting work I've seen at all with it, with pulp. And supposedly because in the paper industry, when they use it, it tends to clog the pipes. So the same thing is assumed for the leaf caster. So maybe they're afraid of using it. I have no idea, but you're not using much of it, right?
Right. I just want to point out, Professor, I would have done a bunch of work with this, except I cut out carbs like years ago.
It is all 100% cellulose. You can't beat that. If you eat it, you get your fiber for the day. That's for sure. All right. So this is part 2 of nanocellulose series that we're doing, and I've done maybe 20 videos on it already, and I put them all on my channel. Heavily edited, I have to say. Starting with the nanofilms, right? The nanocellulose films are probably some of the most used in nanocellulose conservation right now. And they're used much like Tengujo tissue, right? Japanese tissue, to seal tears. And here I have an Archie Mechanics #1 that somebody has used a box cutter on it, and it was in terrible shape at that point. And I sealed it from the back, of course. You can see the tape there, right? The nanofilm there.
I think Jason, the archivist adrift, is the one who did this, by the way.
Yeah, Jason likes Archie. Well, Archie Mechanics is a classic, right? This is a $300 book that I got for about $60, right? So I can't complain about the price, but and it's complete book. The cover was detached, ended up reattaching the cover actually to the interior with sealing the staple holes with the nanocellulose and metal cellulose mix that I made. So as if you're brushing like a layer of nanocellulose and a layer of metal cellulose on top of each other, right? The same kind of thing. But you make the mix the same day, use it the same day. The next day you have to replace it, right?
Sure.
And that's what I do. I make it in small amounts and I use it, and it really works great, right? And that is one thing that has not been done in sealing tears, because when you seal tears, usually you're going to use Tengujo tissue, you're going to use nanofilms perhaps, but not just brushing them and assuming they're going to seal forever, right?
Right.
And so far they're sealing pretty well, actually. So it's pretty amazing concoctions there.
Yeah, one might use glue in that way. And there are archival glues in terms of the longevity of paper, but they're frowned upon in conservation because they're not easily reversible. And CGC has taken that stance and deemed them restoration because they're one of the reasons being they're not reversible. So
Yeah.
having a
Well,
glue that is strong enough to hold a tear and also be reversible is essentially a new concept.
it's a new concept, yeah. It's
Yeah.
been done. They've shown it to be reversible with CNCs, cellulose nanocrystals, and cellulose nanofibrils, and longevity of the product is they did the aging studies. So far, it's holding pretty well, right? Nanofilms hold pretty well. This kind of stuff holds pretty well.
Yeah.
The hydrogen bonding they form with the book is formidable, right? Hydrogen bonds themselves are weak bonds, but you put them together in thousands and thousands of connections. Now you have a very strong connection, right?
Yeah.
If you have a cover that is brittle, spraying it with 1% nanocellulose, right? 1% of the 3% nanocellulose, it'll revive the cover. It'll make it pliable, flexible. You could deal with it then. It's amazing. Yeah.
It really has been amazing to see your work with this, Professor.
Yeah. So it's an eye opener somehow. And I look at literature, like no one is doing anything. It's like, what the hell? So I've got to do some work on this, and I've got to publish some things, right? And just like lack of time, and it's not really my field. So if I publish something in the paper, conservation for the biology department, how does that look? You know? But it's a biological product, right? Cellulose is biology. Yeah, so you could
absolutely
approach it that way. Yeah, and it's self-funded mostly, and all that. So the nanofilms were great, and we used them in the past, and I showed you guys how I used them. They're kind of invisible. You don't see them if they're made correctly. If you make them too thick, you're gonna see them. If you make them thin enough, according to the formula, then you can actually put them on. No one will see them, right? But so that gave me an idea, since the nanofilm is basically nanocellulose, and I'm using metal cellulose to brush this with, why not mix them together and use the concoction to brush tears with? And that was the start of the idea, right?
Yeah. And by the way, you can make films like this from methyl cellulose as well, right? That's a thing that could also be done. It tends not to be quite strong enough without some kind of a fiber backing like Japanese paper, which is why this approach has these unique advantages.
Right. And, you have to remember also, when you're mixing them together, you're making the nanocellulose less visible. So when you brush it on, you don't see any even visible, virtually invisible, right? You don't see anything in there. No nanofilms, nothing. You're brushing it only a small amount. You're doing it on both sides, so the fibers are meeting each other through the cracks and supporting the two sides of the tear, right?
Right.
And that really works beautifully. And so when I introduced this concept a few weeks ago, I think I called it revolutionary. I called it game changer, and I think people jumped on it immediately.
Yeah.
And I got in touch with Don Carter. I wrote something for my little paper on this, right? And I got in touch with Don Carter, and Don Carter and I right now are cooperating on testing the tensile strength of this mix alongside with other proportions, right? So we're gonna do a little study together, and we bought already I already bought a tensile tester, and we're gonna do that kind of study, right?
Nice.
So we've been excited. I spoke to him actually just right on, I think Friday. I spoke to him Friday night or something in Florida. He's in Florida and I'm here. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the test here. He's going to do the test in Florida. We're going to compare the results, right?
Very nice. Science at work.
Scientific way, yeah. Cooperation, yes. Very nice guy. Don Carter, when you speak to him, extremely nice. He's such a good guy,
I only know the content that he puts into our
really,
world. I appreciate
really
it.
valuable stuff he does. He does great work. Yeah.
Well, the first question that comes to mind, Professor, is for everybody at home is, where do they acquire the nanocellulose?
So right, that's a good question. Nanocellulose, the CNF I'm using goes by also MFC.
Okay.
Microfibrillated cellulose, and goes by cellulose nanofibrils. and I got my sample from University of Maine PDC, and they have nanocellulose manufacturing place there. They sell CNCs and cellulose nanocrystals and cellulose nanofibrils in all types. It's like mind-boggling, right? There's also the cellulose lab. If you go on their CNFs, you see like maybe 20 different varieties of the fine particles and what they are, and you have to talk to them. You have to call them and say, what should I buy for conservation? Some of them actually know. They tell you what to buy, right? I got this.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I recall you mentioning, and I think it's on. I'm pretty sure you put it in your website. Maybe Dr. Paul can put some links there and for this show, so people, if they want to try it, they can do it. Because I think you can get it in smaller quantities, and otherwise you got to buy a massive quantity. Which, if somebody wanted to do a group buy and spread it out, we could do that too.
That is correct. That's the way to do it, and then you have to refrigerate the stuff. And I heard from Robin Canham, who is an expert in nanocellulose. I spoke to her. She said she's had this stuff, the 3% CNF I'm using right now, in her fridge for the last 5 years. There is no growth of fungi or bacteria in it, she said. Still usable.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, wow.
All you have to do is just stir it. And occasionally what happens, the water separates a little bit. You just give it a stir pretty much, right? And it's back working again. So it's pretty stable stuff. So if you buy 2.5 gallons from the University of Maine, that's going to last you a lifetime, right? Plus. Wow. So you'd better
hence the group buy.
Yeah. Group buy would be very, very good idea, actually. Something that didn't occur to me, but I got my sample for free, and I gave Dr. Paul some, and I distributed some to people who asked, and Larry, I can give you some if you'd like some. I can send you some.
Yeah, I'd like to experiment some.
Yeah. The thing with this stuff is that I need you to do it because you are using a leaf casting machine, a real leaf casting machine. So that would be a good step in testing it with your pulp recipe, right? Using it at a very low concentration and see how it works with your leaf caster, right? So I think you'll be ideal for this. And I'd like to send you some, So we'll talk after
okay. We can talk. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, we can talk. Okay. And so next slide, Dr. Paul.
Sure.
So out of this, I went back to a wrap that I showed on the conservators last time. This was a wrap that had been sealed with 3 tears, sealed with Tengujo tissue and with nanofilms. So what I did is I reversed that with water, right? I put them in water and took the nanocellulose film and the Tengujo films out, and then reopened again the tears. And I applied that CNF methyl cellulose mix to them, and then dried them in the press. When it's wet, dry them in the press. Next slide, Dr. Paul. So these are the tears, and then on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, you could see how it looks like afterwards. Totally sealed, no indication of tears in there. If you look close, you won't even see them, right? Wow. It's like a new paper in there. Excellent strength.
Is it visible?
Flexibility. Not well. You have to look close, right? It's visible. Like for a grader, probably will see them. That's the scary part, right? It's how CGC would approach this.
Well, my question was really because did you check it under ultraviolet light?
Yeah, I didn't see anything really.
Okay, because that's what they're going to use.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if they have other means of checking these things, but if they see something glowing even slightly, they would give it restored grade, you're saying? Or what did you use?
Yeah, what did you use? And they also take a high intensity light if there's any suspect area. You put that from behind a page to see if there's any shadow or anything like that of evidence of a fill. So I was just curious.
There'd be evidence of a fill, perhaps, because it probably might make a slight nanofilm, but I don't think you can see it with the naked eyes or even with lights. I think you need magnification on this, right? It's really is an adhesive blend, essentially. It's an archival adhesive blend that in my opinion, outperform anything I've seen in my life with sealing tears. It's just amazing stuff, right? And what you could do is, depending on the nanocellulose type that you're using, you could take it and you could make the concoction, if you will, and then bring the pH up to 7. Mine is already at 7 when I make it, right? But when you, if it's not at pH 7, bring it to pH 7 with some calcium carbonate, and that would make it even better, right? Stability would be even better, and you'd be happier to use that way. And initially, when I made the paste, I made it with nori paste. So I made nori paste, CNF, water, and metal cellulose, all three together.
Okay.
And added 3 folds water just to make it more liquidy, because you want the nanocellulose fibers to be free and even in the liquid. You don't want it to be stuck to other things, right? Too much.
You probably want it to flow out some too, so that helps.
Yeah. And if you leave it there too long and you don't change it often, what happens is you end up, the cellulose fibers absorb too much. They end up being not working very well. So you need to change it on a daily basis. And that's the pain in the ass part of doing this, right? I mean, if you leave it in the fridge, you can use it probably a couple of days. After that, you need to change it, right? All right, next slide.
It's incredible, though.
It really is great. And this is an Archie book that was done also with the adhesive mix. And I caused that tear. It was about a 7-inch tear, and I just resealed it. You don't even see it. You don't even see the tear. It looks like a regular wrap. If you were to leaf through it, there's no telling there, right?
You could have charged Jason a couple bucks to tear this. He would have paid for that.
He would give me some work to do, because I'd have to seal it all afterwards. Because I like Archie, right? All right, next slide, Dr. Full. So what I did is, there is nothing in literature on the use of CNF as an additive to pulp, really. I mean, there is like a couple of things here and there, but nothing really major. The thing I found is, if you use too much CNF, too much cellulose nanofibrils in your pulp, it's going to cause stiffness, cockling, and shrinkage of your pulp, which pulls the paper alongside with it and cause major deformation, even though you're pressing it.
Sure. Right? I mean, that's possible even just if you don't properly make pulp.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Pulp itself will do that, right? In leaf
that is true. Pulp will do that, but this is even more so. This is like nothing I've seen before, right? I mean, when you add it to the pulp, and if you dry the pulp and you try to rip the piece of paper, it's like impossible. It's like really a very, very strong tensile strength to it. So what I found through experimentation is that 1 gram of the nanocellulose added 200 mils of a 1% processed fiber gave me at least the best possible stable mix, right? And so that's a little bit of nanocellulose. You can introduce that with the tip of your spatula, basically, and weigh it and put it in. Yeah, it's like you don't need much, right?
It's a very small amount.
Yeah. Very small amounts. Imagine having bought some 2.5 gallons from University of Maine that would last you 1,000 years probably.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found is that cast, once it's set, it's indistinguishable from the cast you make without CNF.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that would make sense. I mean, I would be surprised if it was otherwise.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So how do you detect it under black light? I didn't see anything really that any different from regular, cast. Who knows what they have up their arms? Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So this was the experiment I did. I made from these the same essentially pulp mix. I added different amounts of CNF to it, and then I decided, based on subjectively in this case, based on the measurement of the diameter of each disc, by how much they shrunk after drying, and based on the feeling with my fingers, which one to use for the final concentration in my pulp, and it turned out to be about 1% in the pulp, right?
Mhm.
So 1 gram, 1 gram of CNF in a 200 mil of 1% pulp is even less from what I found. It's in between the first two, between the 0 and the 1%. That's what I'm using right now, even less than the required amount, and it still works fabulously, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So next slide, Dr. Paul. So this was one of the wraps I showed on the last episode of the Conservators. I had stabilized the middle part with nanofilms because it was falling apart. It was very brittle. And I didn't care much for the look of this afterwards because I was working on the Detective Comics number 128, right? This one here. And this is the wrap from it, essentially, right? And I said I should do leaf casting on this. I should do spot infills on this, not keep it like this, right? So I ended up re-wetting it, and I took these out. So next slide, Dr. Paul. And here you can see that I took these out, and instead what I did is I brushed the middle, the crimp area of the cover with the CNF and methyl cellulose mix. And that sort of sealed some of the tears automatically on its own. And the bigger tears that had gaps between them, those you could fill with pulp, right? With the finish.
And you use the pulp, or you use the furnish with the CNF.
With the CNF in it. Yeah, exactly. And this now, if you have tears anywhere around the edges, if you use the CNF MC mix on the edges, it'll seal them automatically. Don't even need to know where they are.
Yeah.
Right. Which is like kind of weird, but it's just like I had a lot of tears in this book on the interior. And I sealed them that way without even looking where they are.
Wow.
And I did the front and the back, right? So I did both sides when it's wet, of course. Yeah. So the results demonstrated that low concentrations of CNF and fiber combinations can effectively work together to reinforce paper during spot infills while maintaining the flexibility.
Yeah.
Right. You don't see that in literature at all. There's nowhere you're going to find this stuff. Right.
Wow.
Brand new stuff, right?
Yeah. I, for one, think it ought to be published in, Journal of Conservation or something like that, Professor, whether that's your field or not, whether or not the school appreciates it or not. I think it needs to get out there.
I think I need to do more controlled studies and more.
Sure. Yeah. It's probably not ready yet, but it should be. You should have a mind toward putting together a manuscript that would be worthy of one of the major journals of conservation.
I think this will be a great idea, Dr. Paul, and I might pursue some of it at least. So we'll take it stepwise, and we're trying. The first step is looking at this mix and see if we can improve it somehow, right?
Sure.
Okay, next slide. So this is these are the pages, the wrap basically, and the pages that I worked on, and you could see that at the end, everything is holding great, right?
Wow.
And it's 2 grams of fiber, 200 mils of water, 1 gram of 3% CNF, formation aid I add just to make it easy to pipette the stuff. And I did the spot infills essentially with a micro pipette, right? That's what I use. And here I say adhesive mix was brushed around the edges and those automatically sealed most tears, right? The same recipe was brush applied around the area where the pulp would go, for example, around the crimp area of the wrap. So if you do that, you really have a formidable cast in this case, right?
Sure.
Now you have a lot of cellulose fibers interacting and forming hydrogen bonding, plus the methyl cellulose is giving you that adhesive quality that we all know. All right, next slide, Dr. Paul. And this is how the book looks like right now, Tech 128. It had a donor back cover from Mutt and Jeff. I deacidified both first before I did any leaf casting, of course. So I did the gel and gum for that on each one of them. And then I prepared the pulp, the furnished recipe, without paying attention to color matching, because they don't care about color matching.
Yeah.
And it came out white. I'm like, okay, white is okay. I don't care. Abaca is in it, so Abaca is strong fiber. And
Mm-hmm.
that's usually a white fiber like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I applied the pulp as usual, and I measured everything first. Like Dr. Paul said, you use the first strap to gauge the width. I put them together, and now I have a full book essentially, right?
Yeah.
No failure of the cast, no lifting of the cast at all, because, and this is traditionally when I do this kind of experiment, occasionally I see something lifting and I would use little methyl cellulose or nori, and I would put it back. This one doesn't have any of that, right? It's just like incredibly strong adhesion upon drying, right? And drying, usually I dry it for a couple of days in the press, right?
Sure. Incredible result. And by the way,
no, it's great.
Congratulations on a cool book for your PC too, in mirroring the back cover. And, this goes from something that was a 0.5 and on its way to being deteriorated to something that's stabilized. And I'm assuming would grade at least like a 2 today too, as well.
That's what I said on my show. I said, this is at least a 2, I would say right now.
I would say
so. I would say 2.
Yeah. And it's all conservation stuff, right? But some of the stuff I introduced there is going to raise eyebrows, right? By the graders, because they haven't heard of this stuff before. And it's anything new, they're going to be scared of a little bit, which understandably so.
Well, if you've never seen a Martian before, how are you going to judge it? I mean, that's basically what you're looking at, because it's something new they've never seen. My first impression of it, if I were to look at it, especially when you made your strips of tape, that to me presented like almost looking like our archival tape, even though that was not what it is. The other thing is if there is a bond there and it's detected and it looks like it's been put back together with something other than leaf casting, is it glue? And that's where I think this is you're gonna probably have to submit something probably to the head grader and let him make a judgment call and explain what you're doing and how it's being done. So, because like I said, it's new, they're going to look at it and say, oh, this is glue. And I think you're going to get a purple label out of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's all archival stuff. So to me, it's not, but maybe they're looking at it as, like you said, and they're going to give it a purple.
Yeah, they'll look at it. Is this paper? Is this, leaf cast, or is this glue? Yeah. Those are my only 2 choices I have to give it. Well, it doesn't look like leaf cast, so I'm going to call it glue. And that's literally how it would probably come together, just like that.
Yeah. Right. And they have to see it in their hands, right, before they can decide.
And I think it's the history of even archival glues, as I said, are generally not easily reversible. And so that's where the education has to happen in terms of recognizing that there could be archival glues that are easily reversible and therefore meet the professional standards for conservation, and that those could be the basis for inclusion of books like this in conservation labels, in conso labels. So
I think so too. Okay. And
but
anything else about this?
Yeah, well, just before we move on, I just want to be
No, I think it looks great.
Yeah, really incredible.
You think not a single Japanese tissue in there, right? And there's
that's the goal.
It's the goal ultimately, right?
We said, at least a 2. I could see this as a 3. I have a World's Finest that has a similar amount of leaf casting on it. That's actually a 3.5. So,
wow.
you know, I feel like this is at least a 2 slabbed, and maybe a bit higher. So that's
Let's hope so.
an incredible improvement over the 0.5 you started with. And again, now it's usable as a book. You can read it, and it's going to be around for centuries. So,
and it's very,
you've
very
done an
flexible
incredible.
now. It was brittle. Now it's flexible. Now I don't have to worry about its brittleness anymore.
Yeah, you've done an incredible service.
It got multiple nanocellulose sprays also on the cover. So that's all.
That may be the most interesting. One of the most interesting aspects of the nanocellulose is doing sprays.
Right. Sprays, and using it also in sizing. When if you add nanocellulose to your gelatin, when you do light sizing of your cover, which I will show here on this one. So current studies in nanocellulose paper conservation concentrate on few things, right now. If you look at literature, you're going to find many types of nanocellulose on the market. You don't know what to buy, you don't know what works, you don't know what doesn't work, right? And so best is you talk to the person on the phone first and say, I'm doing conservation and I need something called 3% or 2% cellulose nanofibrils. That works, right? And I've seen also people use CNCs to a limited degree, and it works for some things also. Cellulose nanocrystals, right? So cellulose nanofibrils, cellulose nanocrystals, and even bacterial nanocellulose, there are some studies on these with the conservation field. So there's a wide variety of things. What you want to try is up to you. I'm trying the CNF here, right? I'm using that type of nanocellulose. And the current research really in conservation, the trend is focusing largely on the nanofilms the last 10 years, right? By Remy Dreyfus and Robin Canham and some others, that's what they've been using for paper, for photos, for old film reels to support tears and things like that, right? The second aspect of conservation trend is consolidation and stabilization of paper by coating it. So if you have brittle paper, old paper, you could coat it with the nanocellulose. It'll improve the tensile strengths sometimes, for example, by 80%. 80%.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible.
This is what I'm saying is this is one of the really exciting applications from my perspective.
Is it with the spray? Is there any chance of cockling and things like that if you overdo it?
No, I didn't see any. I didn't see any because I'm using it at a very low concentration, right? I put it in my water actually. So sometimes I spray it and then I put it in the bath afterwards so it goes away and I spray it again. You know, it's just like that kind of thing, right?
Okay.
You're putting in only like 1 gram in 100 mils of water, right? And you're mixing it really, really well because it settles to the bottom, so you have to keep mixing it. You don't want to add too much, right? So this bottle of water, you'd have to keep going like this.
To be clear, you say 1 gram in the 100 mils of water, but you mean 1 gram of the liquid, which is itself only 2%.
So no, 1 gram of the 3% nanocellulose in 100 mils. So you're talking about 0.03, like 0.03 gram.
I just wanted to be clear. It's not 1 gram in 100 mils would be a 1%, but it's actually way lower than that because the 1 gram you're putting in is already only 3%.
It's already at 3%, right? So you're adding it there and it's dispersing in there and it's a very low concentration. Spray
so it's 3/100 of 1% is what it is.
Yeah.
It's 3/100 of 1%.
Yeah. And every spray is like 2/10 of a mil. You're not really spraying that much nanocellulose on. Yeah. So these are the two big areas now you're going to see in conservation. As far as reversibility, CNF films show water reversibility, which I demonstrated on my channel. It's not as fast as with Tengujo paper, which is expected, right? You still have to add water and weight, and then you can remove the nanofilm. And in some studies, they're calling it the full removal is inconsistent. I really don't know what they're doing because I'm not seeing that, right?
Okay.
I'm seeing full reversibility right now. Maybe trace fibers can be there and you can brush them off. You know, if the trace fibers is what's causing them to say it's not fully removable, I would
Okay. I mean,
just
are
wash
they
it in
really
water.
that much of a contaminant in pulp paper? Right. We're just,
Not much, really. Yeah, when you
I
have a
think
little bit
we're
left.
splitting hairs there if we're talking about whether or not it's fully reversible.
I think
Reversible
so.
to the extent where, any non-destructive test can't detect them is reversible for our purposes.
Right. I mean, the second you spray something, leaf casting with water, right? Wait on it for 5 minutes or so, you're going to be able to remove it easily.
Yeah.
So that's reversible to me, right?
Yeah.
But in these studies, they're saying CNC is has better reversibility than CNF.
I could see that.
So yeah. Let's see. So there is a risk, right? But there is a risk in conservation anyways, right? So
Of course.
you're taking risks in everything in life, right? If you don't make risks, you don't get anywhere in life, right?
So true.
So it is a pretty good product as far as to me, at least, CNF. If you use in the right amount, the right concentration. If you use too much of it, it may not. I mean, but
Sure.
we're not using too much of it. Yeah. And then not well explored yet, I put these on there, is tear repair. Again, you don't find much about that. There is a study where they use CNF with CMC, carboxymethylcellulose, and they use it for consolidation and repair of tears at the same time, right? So they do it for both purposes at the same time. So when you put it on a surface, it is sealing the tears at the same time. It is adding tensile strength to the paper. And that's what you're doing, right?
This is what I think would be, I think this is potentially just going to become standard for everything we do.
Possibly,
This step right here, right?
Yeah.
Because you're
Yeah, very
sealing
possible.
small tears and strengthening the paper. You're adding something that's archival.
Right.
And, we often say there's no such thing as a free lunch. That feels like a free lunch to me.
Until you try it, you wouldn't believe, right? You wouldn't believe your eyes. It's like
that feels like a free lunch to me. So we need still some more work to be done. And I'm encouraging everybody to experiment with, entry-level books. Jason made me laugh out loud again because he said, as long as you're experimenting with Archie books, it doesn't really matter. I find that amusing, although I don't agree with you, Jason, but I find it amusing. Thank you.
Archie and Little Lulu are my friends these days for experimentations. Yeah. So, and then the second area not well explored, of course, is the use of used in leaf casting and spot casting and spot infills, right? And it's limited right now, the research that you look into. You try to find papers that do that. You don't find anything. Right?
No.
It's really very difficult
to
find
anything.
anything.
It may be that it's just not even, it may work fine. It may be that it does have these issues with clogging. It may also just be that it's not even necessary because you can spot cast with the furnish without CNF. And then you can just do this layer coating afterward. Then why not, right?
Yes.
So
although one example where they're using nanocellulose to fill in the lacunae of documents, right? The holes and things like that.
Peter, Professor, can you move a little closer to the mic?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was one study actually where they used CNC alongside CNF, rather than CNF, to fill in the lacunae of documents, right? So the pits and gaps in the document, they were able to actually support those with nanocellulose infills. Yeah. Which is pretty impressive also. That's very similar to doing spot infills, right?
Right. Similar to leaf
with pulp. Yeah. Next slide, Dr. Paul. So this is an Archie. Like, why did I even buy this?
That's yucky.
I know. It's like $60. It came in. You see that lower right piece there in the corner? That was the book was displayed this way. It came without it though. So I was like kind of
that looks like it was in the bottom of somebody's litter box.
Yeah, it's really in bad shape. But it's Archie number 17, and in it there is an Archie story where they show baby Archie in it, right? So to me, it's the first appearance of baby Archie. But in literature, not literature, in the comic book industry, they say 1956 in Little Archie was the first appearance of Baby Archie. It's like, no, this is the first appearance of Baby Archie. That's where it should be, right? It should be at that. Do I have it here? Yeah, I have like the second draft. No, that's Superman. Never mind.
It's The Mirth of a Nation.
Yeah, Mirth of a Nation. Yeah.
I love this book.
I have it here. Yeah. Here's Baby Archie.
There you go. Oh, we'll feature you. Here.
Right?
Here.
Here he is as a baby.
First appearance, Baby Archie.
First appearance. Wow, wow, wow. Who's this? Archie, right?
No,
That should be a
that's
first
not
appearance
the
of Archie.
same. Come on. Baby Archie talks, though. That's like an anthropomorphic Archie. That's why it's different, right?
So Baby Archie crying is not a good first appearance of Baby Archie?
Well, it's like,
Okay, well, maybe not.
yeah.
Baby Archie talks, though. Like, that's the difference, right? That is Baby Archie, but that's not Baby Archie.
All right, I get you. I get you. Just pictures of Baby Archie.
But it's kind of like the first appearance of Gambit. You know, we can argue where that one is.
No, that's what makes it fun.
6 or 14.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, first appearance of Wolverine, was it 180, Hulk 180, 181? You know, we can go on that argument. Yeah. Next slide, Dr. Paul.
Sure.
So all the tears that you saw there were sealed with my concoction, right? With the methylcellulose, nanocellulose mix, all of them. Not a single leaf casting was done on them, right? Leaf casting was done, of course, on the gaps. Not leaf casting, I should say, the spot infills. I said leaf casting on the phone. I was on the phone with Dr. Thompson, right? Doctor, and he said to me, "I have to correct you. You don't do leaf casting." I said, "Yeah, I know. I just say leaf casting, you know."
Yeah.
So I take the rebuke, and I agree with him, and that's called spot infill. What I'm doing there, right?
Sure.
Anyway, so let me go back. So
I think you could rightly call it spot casting, though, and I think you could rightly call it spot leaf casting. And I don't. I get the distinction, and I do happen to be someone who tends to try to be very precise with language. That seems a little bit over the top for our use, but go ahead.
Yeah. I tend to be used with these things.
But with all due respect.
With all due respect. So here I'm brushing this cover with 1% gelatin, which is not a lot of gelatin, and 1% of the 3% nanocellulose, all in together in the same bowl. I make them, you have to use them the first 2 hours, otherwise it doesn't really work very well, the mix. So, and then what I do is I brush one side, I let it dry, I do the other side. And you end up with a pretty nice tensile strength to the cover at the end. It's like not the same cover afterwards, right? And in the industry, they use a film applicator. So here there's a paper where they're showing the use of a film applicator over a newspaper, and they're coating the newspaper with NFC in one step, essentially, and it will apply the NFC all in equal concentration all throughout.
Right.
In my case, I am brushing in one direction, right? Based on the description in the paper, it says if you were to brush it, you'd have to brush it basically from left to right, and do a quick formation to have a quick formation of the fiber agglomeration, right?
Sure.
So I follow the instructions essentially with the brush because I don't have that piece, the film applicator itself, or I would have used the film applicator.
Sure.
So that's one. And then it came out, Dr. Paul, next slide.
Very nice.
This is the cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. The color match, by the way, on the inside is beautiful.
Oh, show us the inside again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great color match.
Yeah, beautiful color match, and you can see there is no leaf casting on the tears at all in the middle.
Yeah, they've all been sealed.
They're all sealed.
Wow.
Which is really nice. And so,
what a result.
Yeah. Next slide, Dr. Paul.
We're going to
So
wrap
the
up with
CGC,
this little bit.
yeah, the CGC factor. I reached out to CGC by phone and email to explain my use of CNF for tear sealing, focusing on the Tech 128 conservation process. I included a link to the full series on my channel for reference. After 4 days of discussions at CGC, the representative emailed me back and she said, the book would very likely receive a purple label based on the photos and information you provided regarding what was done to the book.
Sure.
However, we do not have it in-house to fully confirm, but it will likely get a purple label. So purple was mentioned twice here.
Yep.
A subsequent email she sent me after I called back, she says it looks like, again, reconfirming, it looks like without having it here in a grader's hand, we cannot say 100% for sure, but there is a lot of restoration on your book, she says.
Yeah.
I'm like, where? So again, it is possible that it could receive a purple label. I don't know what they mean. I'm not doing any cutting or any coloring or right. So where is the restoration? I don't get it. Unless they mean the nanocellulose mix, right?
Yeah.
If that's the case, then well,
I think where we're at, and I think you actually, I've already kind of summed it up, Professor, but I think where we're at today is that they do not have any experience with easily reversible archival glues. So any clear seal that does not use Japanese paper is going to be viewed as restoration, and the burden is on us to demonstrate otherwise and to potentially educate CGC. And even then it may not be successful because they may decide that at the end of the day, they don't have methods to reliably, non-destructively determine the difference. And therefore they have to go with the more conservative approach of calling anything that is essentially an adhesive restoration. Glue. I think there's a possibility that we get there, but there's still some work ahead of us. And I understand their stance here. I would have been shocked if it was otherwise, frankly.
I think you're going to have to graphically, either in video or many still, show that you can remove all of it without changing the original structure of the book prior to the application. So just to prove it truly is reversible.
Yeah.
So I think actually there's hope, and I think that's a good place for us to wrap up in terms of like the incredible work you've been doing, Professor, and the incredible progress that's been made so far, all of the unanswered questions that still need answering, the incredible work you're doing with Don Carter and with other folks in the group, and reaching out to CGC and getting at least an initial assessment, which again is not shocking at all. And I want to thank you for coming on and sharing all the work with us. Again, I want to remind everybody this is not a replacement for watching the professor's channel. There's much more in-depth knowledge there. This is just a summary and discussion of it. And I think, Professor, you provided this list of references, which is also on your YouTube channel for those interested in deeper dives. But I mean, this is as exciting a development as we have had since they started leaf casting comic books, in my opinion. I mean, this is really something that I'm personally very excited about, and I appreciate that you've brought it to the community.
You're very welcome, and I hope that more people get into that, just to try it out, right?
I'm sure. I think more people are just about every day or every week anyway.
Yeah, because we need other input in this. I mean, it's fine and dandy if I present my work, but I make mistakes. I'm not 100% sure about certain things. I'd like to get the publications going. I'd like to see more work done in this field, right?
Well, we're all humans, and also, you and I in particular come with the scientific view of the world and humility that comes with it, and the desire to collaborate and the desire to have others sort of double your work and reproduce it just to demonstrate that it is real. So we've been going for quite a while. It's 90 minutes now. I appreciate everybody's attention. I think we've had great retention, especially for such a long show. But I think we should wrap it up here. We will have the professor on again soon, I am sure. Let's thank again this show's sponsors: Jim Colajay, You Pluck My Last Comic, Don Carter, Collecting Chaos, and Gorilla Monkey 3K. Thank next show's sponsors: Jim Colajay once again, Don Carter once again, Gorilla Monkey 3K once again, and our friend at Dylan at Salesboy Comics, keeping it moist. Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everyone viewing the show later. Thank you, Professor, for coming on. Thank you, Larry. Welcome home. And
thank you.
Please do give us a thumbs up and leave a comment on the video proper. It helps us with engagement, and we appreciate all of you. And with that, I will say, until next time, take care of one another.
See you later, everybody.
Good night.